about news, also good news. So if I read a chapter of news, okay, or even important chapter, and so on, and that's the thing, I cannot need to see it outside the store, and I have access to that, okay? Then in citation, I should say that I had access to news, and is it on as is on as media or news?
Yeah, a lot of people use, for example, Scholar Google.
Okay.
It's a serious search engine. It's supposed to get you to the book. You know, it does not provide book, but it's a search engine. I mean, it's even more respectful than other Google sites. Google Books, I mean, you want to be honest. If you read a New York Times article online, you should cite the version that you quoted. For several things. One is honesty, the other is maybe the online text was changed from the first version. I mean, it happens that sometimes the online article will be longer than what was printed in the paper. It happens a lot.
Someone that had
Not necessarily. I mean,
not necessarily.
But no, I mean, I'm talking about the official New York Times website. Sometimes you look at an article, they have that many pages, but they have a lot of space on the internet. So they publish an interview with someone. In the published version, it's a page and a half. Online, it's 20 pages.
In the instance of a book chapter,
Yes, of course.
so it couldn't be added, like
And
what you were saying.
And tampered with. So you want to give the source them always. Google Books are a medium to get you to the book. And you should spare no effort trying to get the book, or trying to get the chapter, in the library loan, document delivery, someone traveling, an aunt that I have in the States, or whatever way you can do it. So you should go to the origin and read the original work. If you can't, just put it like that.
But the books, they are scanned off the record, so I can see them because they are scanned off.
لا بس مشكلة ساعات الصفحات ممكن تاني الصفحات المعروضة تاني يعني ممكن وانا شاطر مثلا 40 pages ممكن يوم 20 الريفيو او يعني ممكن 40 pages حصلت معايا مرة حاجة جالس بروندس لا الصفحة خلاص اتقفلت يعني كنت مثلا جالس بروندس تلاقي اي حتة فلقيتها في يوم في صفحة تانية خلاص اتقفلت.
Sometimes it can take forever to access the original material.
Logic says is scanned, it cannot be different from the print version. However, I cannot be 100% sure. With technology, things develop all the time. The other consideration is this. I mean, I have 5 pages. I mean, you know what it's like when Amazon gives you a sample and you start reading the forward and then you jump to the next page and it's from a chapter in the middle. Because they don't want to give you an entire chapter because otherwise nobody would buy the book. I mean, these are commercial sites. And as much as people write for academic purposes, they also publish for maybe.
So if I can access the print version, accept it as an ebook.
Only if you cannot access that. You've tried it very hard.
It's no way.
Because this would be looked at as a shortcoming that, for example, in your defense, you maybe have to explain. Why did you not try and find? I mean, remember, you're doing research. Research means you have to dig deep and find. I mean, that's what we do. We don't do anything else. Research and research. That's all. Now, the other thing I want to remind you of is plagiarism is based very much, I mean, it's always a question of the intention of plagiarism. I mean, any of us can write a sentence that they meant to quote without quoting it inadvertently, without meaning to plagiarize. So, I mean, again, I don't want you to feel that once someone points out that there is something that the source here needs to be shown, I have to defend myself right away. I mean, you know yourself. I mean, you know that you did not have that intention. And you know that this is not how you reported that, and you should have just used those quotation marks. Again, have confidence in that, basically. Now, the last thing I want to say about this is there are sites on the internet that help you. First of all, if you're not sure something is plagiarism or not, I mean, there's like a TD website, plagiarism.org. I mean, I found this as I was searching for it here, but there are other things much more respectable. owl.purdue.edu, that the online writing lab of Purdue University, owl.purdue.edu. I mean, once you look on Google, it's a great website. I mean, it tells you a lot about research, about find sources, etc. Now, the last thing I have here for you, this is a definition of plagiarism. I'll just read it to you just to see the scope of things covered by plagiarism. This is the Indiana University Code of Student Rights. I mean, this is specific to students at Indiana University. The content of that. So it's Indiana University Code of Student Rights, Responsibilities, and Conduct. Indicates that students may be disciplined for several different kinds of academic misconduct. These include cheating, fabrication, plagiarism, interference, and violation of coursework. In particular, the code states on plagiarism. Plagiarism is defined as presenting someone else's work, including the work of other students, as one's own. Any ideas or materials taken from another source for either written or oral use may be fully acknowledged. Must be fully acknowledged, unless the information is common knowledge. Alright? Yani, in a presentation, I cannot again use someone else's work without acknowledgement. A lot of us use certain models developed by other people after years of research, and we don't acknowledge the model. This is wrong. Hatta al-orally, you have to say this comes from Kaza's work. What is considered common knowledge may differ from course to course, and from culture to culture, and from country to country. I would say, if in doubt, err on the side of correctness. Err on the side of citation. You're not sure if this is common knowledge or not, you have searched for it site. It's better this. A student must not adopt or reproduce ideas, opinions, theories, formulas, graphics, or pictures of another person without acknowledgement. A student must give credit to the originality of others and acknowledge an indebtedness whenever. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Directly quoting another person's actual work, whether oral or written. You have to give acknowledgement. Using another person's ideas, opinions, or feelings. Paraphrasing the words, ideas, opinions, or theories of others, whether oral or written. Borrowing facts, statistics, or illustrated material. Or finally, offering materials assembled or collected by others in the form of projects or collections without acknowledgement. Basically, anything that does not come out of here should be acknowledged. Now, how you acknowledge it is a different issue. Sometimes you have to cite it, you have to quote it, you have to paraphrase and cite, you have to summarize and cite, or basically attribute it to someone. You know, Derrida's concept of. This is Indiana University. And and it's again available online on their website. I found it through Google. I just typed in plagiarism definition. That's simple. So if you're not sure, search and ask. You know, I want to use this. Does this? I mean, how do I cite that? Often there is an answer, we just don't know. I think with this we come to the end of what we're going to cover. Okay.
One has to do with, I think it was this you mentions, posing yourself. We already said something in an article, and I'm not so sure, actually, I'm sure it's still here we will discuss it more. But self-plagiarism.
I suppose the paper, for example, Virginia Woolf as a feminist, for example, just a paper, and then another paper that I write my same sentence, copy and paste, because I have the time.
From my same sentence, and I have to.
They consider it plagiarism. I don't, I'm not convinced, actually.
No, yeah, I mean.
It's my sentence.
It's your sentence, so it's not plagiarized.
Yes.
You're saying it's my sentence, so it's
Oh,
not
yes.
let me briefly comment on this. Any journal asking you to submit an article or a conference presentation, it's just they ask you for originality. That this is written specifically for this journal.
But it's not
Sometimes, why not acknowledge it? I mean, the very, very famous, well-known writers say stuff like, as I have written elsewhere, now it would be a bit pretentious if I said, if I've written elsewhere, but
As I always said.
I should give it as a note. I mean, people have to publicize their own work this way.
Yes, I want to say something. That's why I wanted to pick up on this point. What I really want to say about this is not direct quotation, because if you directly quote, then you have, you're quoting yourself, then you have to acknowledge yourself.
It makes sense that I enforce it, not the truth.
Yes, but it's when you articulate the same words from an article that you wrote before, and you are using it, then within the article that was written before, this is not just you, this is the institution that has published your article, this is the journal that has published, that carries the copyright of your material and so on. So the copyright is not just about the author, it's about a lot of other institutions involved in the copyright.
It's published.
Sorry?
It's published.
Of course it's
Because if I submit it to you and then
yes,
rather
but
process.
that's another thing. That's another thing. But if it is published, and then you are taking the same lines from it again, then you say, you put your last name and you put yourself as a reference. However, what I think, I don't think my answer is fine, but what I think, if you repeat your ideas, like Derrida has been talking about power and the panoptic. In this book and in that book, he doesn't have to say Derrida, 1991, because he's saying the panoptic, or the panoptic is his invention, because if this is your idea, you can say your ideas so many times. I think this is how I feel. I don't know if this is a controversial issue or not, but if it is an idea, then it recurs as an idea.
The idea of not the same word.
Yes, I mean, this can be open for discussion, but I just wanted to say what I think about that. The other thing that I want very briefly to talk about is the idea of Virginia Woolf as an anti-feminist and Jane Austen as an anti-feminist, and this becoming a plagiarized thing.
Yeah, that's a very simple example. But I mean, there's a lot of thinking that goes into research projects. If I take someone's idea and apply to another text without even mentioning that this is inspired by the reading of them, without even mentioning the original source, what's the problem?
Of course, but you have to say that this is inspired, but it's okay to use a topic like that.
Of course.
It's okay to borrow the topic that Jane Austen, Virginia Woolf as an anti-feminist, and Jane Austen as relative to this research for the idea. What could be a problem is, again, what Yasmin said, is to borrow the same model used to tackle Virginia Woolf as an anti-feminist. نفس الشابترايزيشن، نفس التقسيمة، واربطها بالضبط وحطها على جين أوستن، بس فين جين أوستن يعني borrowing the model, okay, not an intellectual model, but an operational model. This is a problem. حتى لو التيسس عنوانها مختلف، بس أنا أخذت بالضبط الخطوات والرسمة اللي عملها حد وحطيتها an outline, and I filled in the outline. I think that this would be a problem, and معنى كده في جزء كبير من البروسيجرز بتاعتي ما عملتهاش. But I don't think even acknowledging it is enough in this sense, because يعني أنا أخذت الموضوع كله. فيعني I think that's why I think what she mentioned was important. The idea of working a model that somebody did their analysis on and doing my analysis. I think it would be maybe it's not terribly formally required, but I think ethically you need to say that this I was inspired by the reading of this book. And then in my literature review, if I'm referring to a literature review, then I will refer to the earlier work. اللي هو اوكي انا بتكلم عن جين اوستن as an anti-feminist، بس في حد عمل study اسمها كذا وانا بكمل عليها من ناحيه كذا او انا I'm substituting. So I'm going to acknowledge it in a way, even if not directly. Could come in the literature review if I'm writing a book, would it come in my introduction? I was inspired by this kind of study that was done on this person, and I wrote that.
Isn't there a part in the papers where folks acknowledge this part? Should I be mentioning, for example, become inspired by it? It's not that formal.
I think acknowledgement more has to do with people who actually help you in the production of the work, but not somebody who took basic things about you from, this must come in the body.
I agree. And acknowledgements are optional. Like communications are optional. I mean, not everybody reads. And you don't have to say that it was inspired by, but you can in the introduction say that in this work X does together. And then got it. Just attribute it to the person, acknowledge it something.
Yes.
Actually, concerning the model thing, I have an example. I'm working on something, okay, but I'm inspired by another field. Like, for example, I'm working in discussion and I'm inspired by reception theory. So am I going to say I have inspired by reception theory and this is not connected to my research or my focus or my discussion, etc.?
Yes, if you are borrowing their sort of, not their methodology, but you are...
For example, I was doing some research on reception theory and I discovered there's an author that's neglected, so I decided to work on this person. So I have to say that I was inspired by doing a research on reception theory, so I discovered someone who is neglected, so I decided...
I don't think you are required to do that, but
even ethically, this is...
even make your work richer to say that, as they do, as reception theorists do, or as practitioners of reception theory do, and just refer to the fact that this is probably, you want it from certain fields, you want it from a different field. This will actually tell others about the breadth of your reading, because I am not working with reception theory at all, but while reading reception theory, I got my idea about this person. So why not say, I don't think you're required to do that. Nobody will tell you, you have stolen something from reception theory, because this is too broad. But saying that I thought it would be possible to borrow this from reception theory and use it, then why not? I think that would make your work appear more learned, more scholarly.
What if I came across an expression that I like and I decided to memorize it because it's
sowing the seeds of conflict. I remember this particular example because I saw the line and I liked it and I memorized it, and then I used it sowing the seeds of Gaza. And I was surprised, this doesn't really sound like so what about expressions like that? What about the expression sowing the seeds of our we quote in the web of expressions like these?
These are idiomatic.
Right?
They are idiomatic. These are like
They're nobodies.
they are nobody. They are idiomatic expressions.
Doctor,
Unless there was like I have, for example, read at one point, which is this is a true example. I have read at one point an African writer saying language commits you to a culture, and it stuck to my mind this phrase. Although it's not really, it's not a big argument. Language commits you to a culture, and then I totally forgot to say it, and I wanted to use an argument in one of my articles, and I had to search and go back to find who wrote it, because it didn't sound like it's not an idiom, it's an idea, okay? And if it's an idea, even though it's a minor idea and it can be overlooked, or it's like commonplace language commits to a culture, but because I remember I have read it somewhere, and I kept searching until I found who said it. So in that case, it's not really an idiom. It's more of a sentence. I think it was in movie was Yongo, yeah, and I had to go back and find exactly where I read it, which is like going back to
We've room for discussion if you want, or we can just we can give you minutes. All right. Any questions? This is the kind of question one cannot answer without actually knowing what you're working on and what is relevant to what's irrelevant. What are the key pages you want to keep in order to produce long paths?
Actually, now it's less than
The writing idea.
It seems to me, Randa, that you want to put sculpture next. It seems to me that you want to put everything in your introduction. I don't know why I feel you have your topic well formulated in your mind, but somehow you are too eager to put it. Because I would say, of course, like you already say, I need to know more about your work, but I don't think you need to refer in detail to feminism, ecofeminism, and eco-criticism in your introduction. I was thinking usually, and I always have this thing in mind whenever I'm writing that I usually assume that there's hormones, so I keep it in the research.
You deleted everything but in time, good time, everything in the introduction. But there will be a place in your proposal where you talk about your methodology, and then talk about eco-criticism, ecofeminism. Why do you have to say that in one introduction, you'll get it easy. طب يعني maybe it would be a better idea seriously. الحاجات اللي مش عايزة تلاقيها من introduction, use it somewhere else. You know, if you feel it's too, which I fully understand. That's why I'm already getting thrown away.
No, I was told to don't order the introduction of the cases is not important.
But برضه منهم لو في حاجة تيجي إنها دلوقتي بتعمل المخطط بالمال، في حاجة اسمها question، في حاجة important. لو في حاجات من دي ممكن تروح للبوينتس دي. يعني أنا حاسة إن دي كل حاجة مش عارفة طبعا ممكن تيجي ولا بعد
طبعا الناس يعني I find this a very sound idea that they could maybe people for somewhere else in the introduction. I mean, I will just share with you very briefly how I wrote my proposal. I wrote my proposal as one chunk. I mean, paragraph is not divided. I just sat down and wrote what I wanted to write about the proposal. And then I shared it with my brother, and then later on, I worked it into a proposal for us. So I basically had everything, but I was cutting and pasting. I was doing the one part now. This way, I mean, I may have rewritten just an introduction, or to taken a paragraph as an introduction. A lot of what you have now may fit in the literature review. If you feel that you need to introduce ego-criticism, because that's the topic that you're working with, of course it will be slightly different than that. So maybe it would fit there. Maybe some of it would fit in the topic of the research. I mean, but just think for math, and you don't have to include everything. You don't have to include everything. Yes, I agree that don't assume that people know, but don't assume that people don't know at all. You know what I'm saying? It's a fine line that you have. Sometimes we explain the basics because we assume people don't know. But it's a problem.